James here with New Adventure Films. Recently, Insta360 changed their desktop application, and you can't render time in Starlapses using the camera sequence settings the same way you did in previous versions. Version 6.0.2 is totally different, but after hours of research and a little help from the people at Insta360, I figured it out. There's a new way, and I'm going to show you how. I'm also going to show you a side-by-side comparison of two Starlapses taken at the same time, one with the Insta360 X5 and one with the brand new X6. And if you haven't already watched my previous video on the ultimate guide to creating Starlapses, I will put a link to it in the description below. To set your camera settings, turn on your X5 and open the Insta360 app. You can also set these settings in the camera itself. Set your camera settings to interval. Do not use the Starlapse setting as you will not be able to use manual settings. Alright, so the interval setting is where I got a lot of questions for my previous video. I told you to set the interval at 3 seconds, but by doing so with a 20-second shutter speed, the camera took one image every 30 seconds. That's obviously longer than 3 seconds. I assumed that the camera would take a picture every 3 seconds, and until recently I never checked the time each picture was taken. So it's pretty clear that even if you set the camera to take a picture every 3 seconds for a Starlapse, the shutter speed and processing of the picture overrides that setting. So it would make a lot more sense to set your interval to every 30 seconds with the X5, as the next closest interval setting is still too short at 10 seconds. Next, set your record length to no limit. Next, press the button on the right of the record button. Make sure it's set to M for manual. Set your shutter speed to 20 seconds. Any shorter and you may not have enough light. Any longer and you will start seeing stars blur as they move across the sky. Set your ISO to 400, 800, or 1000 depending on how dark the sky is. For the darkest sky with no moon or city lights, set it to 1000. Here again I'm going to correct myself from the previous video. You want a natural sky color, so set your white balance between 3800 to 4200 Kelvin. You can always change it later, but not if it's way too warm or too cool. Set camera mode to 360. Set your camera to shoot pure shot, but not pure shot plus raw, because the camera tends to overheat with both settings, and raw does not seem to change the final quality of the Starlapse when edited in raw. Also, something I forgot to mention about that in the previous video is shooting in raw takes longer to process, quite a bit longer, and will result in less Starlapse pictures and a less smooth video. Set your picture resolution to the highest level, which is 72 megapixels. Then don't forget to press the record button. Wait a minute or two to make sure the camera is taking a picture around every 30 seconds or so. It's very important to connect your X5 to an external battery source, as without one, the battery in the camera will run out of power prior to sunrise. I have my X5 connected via USB Type-C cable to an external battery pack so it can run all night. I'm not a sponsor, but I use the Jinpin Power Bank solar charger and it has never failed me. It also has a built-in flashlight which is really helpful in the dark. With a solar-powered Jinpin, you will always have power in remote locations at night as long as you remember to charge it with the sun in the day. Okay, after you've downloaded your Starlapse pictures to your computer, you need to open them up in the new Insta360 Studio version 6.0.2. Select the first picture in the sequence you want to start with, then highlight all the pictures to the last picture you want to end your Starlapse with. Then click Open. You will get a loading file message. When it's done, you will see a single merged video file on the right-hand side of your screen. Double-click on this picture. That will open all the pictures in the video. Double-click on the first image to bring up the next screen. Then click here on Local Media, which will again consolidate the pictures into one image. I know, kind of weird that they're going back and forth. Next, click on the top right of the screen where they say Export, where it says Export. A screen will pop up that will let you merge the files into one video file. Select Panoramic Photo. Select Time Lapse. Next, select the frame rate you want your video to be in. Leave stabilization on stationary because that's what it is, a stationary image. Rename the file to something you will remember and tell it where to put the merged video file. This video file took 30 minutes to render, as the new X6 takes 120 megapixel pictures compared to the 72 megapixel X5, so be patient. You can check the progress of the rendering in the project window. Once your merged video file has been created, open the folder you saved it to, select the merged file, and click on Open to import it into the Insta360 Studio. I always remove the previous file so that I don't get confused on which one I'm working on. Now that your file is loaded, you can scroll around the video, set the view angle, and hit play to see the time-lapse video you just created. You can also set keyframes to make your Starlapse into a star hyperlapse. For more information on this, please watch my first ultimate guide to creating Starlapses with the link in the description below. Now, as promised, here is a comparison of two Starlapses taken at the same time in the same location in Escalante, Utah, with the Insta360 X5 and X6. Here's a side-by-side comparison between a Starlapse on the X5 versus the X6. As you may or may not be able to see, depending on the resolution you're watching this in, the X6 video has a lot less distortion. Zoomed in at 300% side by side with the same exact camera settings, you can see there's much more distortion in the X5 video. Here's a Starlapse I created with the new Insta360 X6. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.